Coming up on the November 7th edition of Sports Extra. John Swofford's not the only one pulling ACC championships out of North Carolina. We'll recap a rather disappointing Sunday for Tar Heel athletics.
It wasn't all bad news for Carolina sports, though. We'll break down how the football team swatted the Yellow Jackets back to the ATL.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
No, it's not Christmas. Basketball's back and off to a great start. All that and more. Sports Extra starts
right now.
From the University of North Carolina School of Media and Journalism, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Carolina had a chance at an individual national title and 2-team conference titles, but laid a big goose egg. Good evening, I'm Peyton Walker.
And I'm Caleb Waters. Thanks for joining us, and thank goodness for the football team, which dominated on Saturday for their 7th win of the 2016 season. Now, it was a beautiful homecoming for the Heels as they took on Georgia Tech in an ACC showdown at Kenan on Saturday. After battling injuries for a few games, Elijah Hood was back and unstoppable with 168 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was all number 34 on Saturday with bruising runs like that. But don't you worry, Mitch Trubisky got his. Here he is giving the Tech defense a little misdirection before finding a wide open Bug Howard, who's going to take it 68 yards to the house for 6. The Heels go on to win 48-20, securing their 5th ACC victory of the season. And the defense gave up just 3 points in the second half, which head coach Larry Fedora attributed to players being riled up.
Didn't change one thing. Didn't adjust anything. You know, hey, we wanted to be, all we told them is to go out there and play pissed off.
But there's no reason for you to be ticked off because we have football analyst Lindsay Sparrow here to break down the win. Lindsay, what was the key?
Well, Peyton, it looks like a bye week of rest and recovery did the Heels well because they sure came out strong against Georgia Tech and especially Elijah Hood. For the first time all season, Hood was at 100% physically, and you sure could see it. Just in the first quarter, he racked up his season-high rushing yards on 7 carries with 2 touchdowns. Let's take a look. He was explosive and seemingly one step faster than every Yellow Jacket defender. Though we've seen Hood with some dominating performances earlier this season, like at Virginia, we haven't seen him with carries quite as long as we did on Saturday. He averaged 14 yards per carry and had some speedy breaks. So fast the camera can't even keep up with him. He manages to barrel his way through the D-line on 4th and 1, and he is out of here for a 36-yard dash to the end zone completely untouched.
All right, Lindsay, so the rushing attack was certainly on point this weekend, but what about Maxwell semifinalist Mitch Trubisky?
Well, as soon as the Tech defense adjusted to Hood, Mitch Trubisky used that run-pass option to his advantage. Another solid performance from the O-line gave Trubisky plenty of time to find receivers like Bug Howard. This marks Howard's 3rd consecutive game with 100 receiving yards, and this 68-yard touchdown catch is the longest of his career. Trubisky reached the 300 passing yard mark for the 5th time this season. No wonder he's a semifinalist for the Maxwell Award given to the most outstanding college football player. Saturday marked the 2nd consecutive game. Hood rushed for 100 yards, Trubisky passed for 300 yards, and Howard had 100 receiving yards. That's quite a 3-headed monster if you ask me. So the balance and versatility of the Carolina offense have made it difficult for opposing defenses to lock down a scheme to stop the Heels.
All right, and finally, Lindsay, what about the other side of the ball?
Well, Peyton, the Carolina defense continues to improve each week. After a bit of a slow start in the first half, the Heels adjusted to Tech's triple option. Nas Jones, a.k.a. Brick Wall, would not let anyone cross his path, and Andre Smith was not having it either. Got a personal foul on this pretty rough tackle, but the Heels continued their aggressive attack. The Heels forced 2 turnovers, Mikey Bart punching this one out, and Carolina recovers. Plus a good old block field goal held Georgia Tech to a measly 3 points in the second half. Though the first place spot in the Coastal Division is still in the hands of Virginia Tech, the Heels aren't letting that stand in the way of reaching their goals. The Heels are heading to Durham on Thursday to take on the Blue Devils, looking for their 10th consecutive true road game win.
Well, I'm sure we all hope UNC beats Duke on Thursday for sure. Football analyst Lindsay Sparrow. Thanks, Lindsay.
UNC athletes are stars on campus, but what happens after they graduate? I caught up with a former offensive lineman to find out what he's doing now.
Kevin Donnelly is no ordinary man. After finishing his collegiate football career at the University of North Carolina, Donnelly went on to play for the Carolina Panthers. He currently serves as an anchor for his pro team's leading analyst show, Panthers Game Day.
That the Panthers had an opening with a show that they do on Sunday nights and said, we'd like to see if you'd be open to doing this. We just try and come up with those nuggets, those talking points. What we saw is game changers, good performances that game, guys that kind of went above and beyond.
Donnelly is going above and beyond with some advice for college players who have the same dream he had.
I had a great career, but there was a day when I had to hang up the helmet and cleats and walk off that field and wonder, what am I going to do next? But I'd tell college athletes, you're there first and foremost to be a student, and then the athlete comes next. And just don't switch those. Don't put the athlete first and the study second. So many guys do that, and they have these dreams of making it, and it's so few actually do. You really do need that fallback plan.
And Donnelly is so grateful to UNC for providing him with the tools to succeed.
Well, loved my time at Carolina, and just was a great years of my life. I met my bride there. She was a Tar Heel girl. Obviously, that's why so much of our lives have been influenced by Carolina.
Looks like this sports broadcaster is still bleeding sky blue.
You can see Donnelly on WCNC in Charlotte following the late night news on Sundays.
UNC has faced an academics and athletics scandal for years, and now the university might have a new problem on its hands: compliance with Title IX. Abby Presley is live in studio to explain what this all means. Abby?
Thanks, Caleb. It has been 44 years since Title IX was passed, a law that bans discrimination on the basis of sex in all educational departments and opportunities, including athletics. And it has been 18 months since UNC was sent a legal analysis by an advocacy group named Champion Women. The documents, sent directly to Athletics Director Bubba Cunningham and UNC Chancellor Carol Folt, say UNC is the most out-of-compliant with Title IX school in the country. Cunningham responded to the complaint asking for 18 months to assess the analysis. Well, that time is up. There are three main components that determine if a school is following Title IX or not, and it's necessary to show that a school is following only one of the three prongs to be considered in compliance. The first, a school must show that male and female athletes are proportionate to the male and female student population. Now, these statistics are from 2014, but at that time, women made up a little over 58% of the entire student body, but only 45% of athletics. So to put that into perspective, the university would need to add at least 270 female athletes to its roster, which could be anywhere from 4 to 10 new teams in order to be proportionate. Now, the second prong asks that schools show a history and continuing practice of program expansion in order to level the playing field. Now, since UNC has had a fluctuating average number of athletes for the past few years, the analysis showed that we failed this test as well. Now, finally, the third part of the test must show that a school is completely and effectively meeting the interest and ability of students to participate in sports. Now, because a small 4.85% of the student body is offered a sports experience, or in this case, a varsity opportunity by UNC, Champion Women says that the university fails to meet this test for both its female and male athletes. And on top of all that, there is a huge difference in the recruitment process for men and women. Again, these numbers are from 2014, but UNC spent nearly $1 million to recruit its male athletes, and only about $400,000 was spent on female athletics recruitment. Bottom line, Champion Women says UNC fails on all three measures. And revenue from football and men's basketball supports the entire sports program. So you might ask, are these in a separate category? Well, not according to the law. Plus, the CEO of Champion Women, Nancy Hogsheadmaker, said that the revenue generation does not justify discrimination at a school. The athletics department is continuing to study the report from Champion Women. Back to you, Caleb.
Well, that is not good news. Abby Presley breaking it down in studio. Thanks, Abby.
For those of us suffering withdrawal, good news, Carolina basketball is back. Roy's boys are back in town, but Bryce and Marcus are not. Nevertheless, the team did tip off the season with an exhibition blowout of UNC Pembroke. There's Isaiah Hicks with his first of many dunks this year. And this one was never close, and with the subs in the game, Aaron Rollman makes a free throw, and the bench goes crazy. The Heels beat the Braves by 61, 124-63. During Friday's game, the two teams helped reach out those affected by Hurricane Matthew. The schools partnered with Harris Teeter's Million Meals Challenge. They asked basketball fans to donate canned goods, cleaning supplies, and non-perishable food items. Coach Williams spoke out about the food game after the game.
You need to be aware of those things, and the people down there after the hurricane and the floods have had a tough time. So I'm hopeful that some seats brought some food tonight.
In Fayetteville. They say close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
When we come back, we'll talk about a few Carolina teams that found that out the hard way.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. My name is Harvey Lauer. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
You know, some days you're just really feeling it. You know you're on. And for UNC men's tennis, Jack Murray went 5 sets but came out the victor with a final scoreline of 7-5, 6-4, 4-6, 6-7, 7-6. Other days, not so much. And now a Sports Extra's exclusive interview with UNC basketball legend, Mikel Jordan.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna switch it up. Sorry, buddy.
Hey, don't take it personal. Come on, just focus up. We'll get them next week.
Focus.
We'll be all right.
All right, we'll come back in 5, 4, 3.
Ready?
Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
I can't seem to save anything.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
It was a rough weekend for Carolina's field hockey team after a winner's high at the ACC Field Hockey Championship in Winston-Salem. The Heels secured a spot in the championship game by knocking off top-seeded Duke. Sophomore Ashley Hoffman scored 2 goals, this one at the 60-minute mark with a penalty stroke, and the winning goal by sophomore Malene Everett. Heels beat the Devils 3-2. But the excitement didn't last long, and the team surrendered to the Cavaliers in the championship game on Sunday. Less than 13 minutes left, the Cavaliers led 3-1 until senior Lauren Moyer scored off that penalty corner, assisted by Major and Young. Now with the Heels closing in, just 2 minutes later, Virginia Nets number 4 taking the conference championship at Carolina's expense 4-2.
This is UVA's first ACC championship in the history of their program. You know, it would have been our 20th. So, you know, you give them credit and you say, way to go, you beat us on this day, and we look to regroup for next week.
Now the Heels have snagged an at-large bid to the 2016 NCAA tournament and will play Stanford on Saturday in College Park, Maryland.
It was a Friday women's soccer face-off between Carolina and Notre Dame, both fighting for a spot in the ACC tournament final. The Tar Heels came on strong early. Annie Kingman launches a free kick that hits the post, but Maya Worth is there to clean it up for her first goal of the season. The Irish would answer to tie it up in the second half before Kingman slides past the defense and finds time to the back of the net. Carolina takes the 2-1 victory and advances to the ACC championship game. And the championship game against Florida State was a close one, with neither team finding the net in regulation. The Seminoles tried to take the win in overtime, but Carolina keeper Lindsey Harris dives and makes this one-on-one save to send the match to penalty kicks. Florida State took the initial advantage after the Seminole goalie stops that try from Abby Alinsky, and then Bridget Andrzejewski has to make it, but dings it off the post to seal the deal for the Noles.
Now, despite the loss, head coach Anson Dorrance has built a powerhouse women's soccer program here. Dario Malave has more about the hugely successful coach.
22 national championships, the very definition of a dynasty. Anson Dorrance has built an empire in Chapel Hill.
I had so much confidence coming in because of all his statistics with everything and all the championships. I mean, he just got his 800th win, which was huge.
You can describe Dorrance's team culture with one word: family.
I signed immediately because I just knew that this had the family environment that I wanted.
and there wasn't a day that I was here that I regretted my decision. He cares about us not just in football, he cares about our well-being, how we are academically, how we are as people, and he's just very caring.
However, there come times when Coach Dorrance has to show some tough love.
So I came in just really happy for practice, and then I did something wrong, and oh my gosh, I just got like stepped on by him. But honestly, it's making me a stronger person.
A key to Dorrance's success, besides discipline, has been his ability to share all of his knowledge with his players.
Let me see if I can get that into this player. Let me see if I can teach that to that player. And all of a sudden, it's almost like a library of books you have available to explore.
What Dorrance likes exploring is how the personalities of the players can mesh with his own.
These kids are fun to be with. I don't know how I would fill my afternoons if I didn't have a chance to come out here and hang out with some just great kids.
And Dorrance hopes to hang more banners while continuing to have fun with his team. In Chapel Hill, I'm Dario Malave reporting.
Dorrance's win differential, which is the total wins minus losses and ties, is 703. Get this, even better than the iconic Dean Smith's 625. And the Heels are once again headed to the national tournament as a 2-seed, hosting Liberty on Saturday at 1.
The sun was beating down on Fetzer Field, and competition was heating up as the men's soccer team took on Boston College on Sunday. Things got a little chippy early on as senior Andy Lopez and BC's goalkeeper each received yellow cards after this collision. Immediately after the scuffle, Zico Lewis scores the only goal of the game off of a deflection, and BC knocks the top-seeded Tar Heels out of the ACC tournament. Carolina now waits for NCAA tournament selection on November 14th.
Finally, some good news. The volleyball team kept its #1 status in the ACC this weekend, starting with another win against the Miami Hurricanes on Friday afternoon. The match started strong for the Tar Heels as the ladies took a 2-0 lead with rejections like this by Taylor Tracy. Miami captured the third set 25-23 with this killer spike, bringing the Canes within 1. The Hurricanes fought to stay alive in the fourth, but Carolina's front row was a brick wall. The Heels racked up 15.5 blocks on the day and took the match in 4 sets. Now, the Heels seemed to be in trouble in Tallahassee on Sunday, dropping the first 2 sets to the number 10 Florida State Seminoles. However, spikes like that helped Carolina mount a comeback. The Heels found their rhythm quickly and took the third set 25-11. Carolina then tied the match 2-2 with this block from Taylor Furcano, and in the 5th and final set, tied 2-2. This rejection seals the deal, and Carolina completes the comeback for the 3-2 victory.
The women's tennis team has a long ride home after a trip to New York for the National Indoor Intercollegiate Championship. Top-ranked Haley Carter dominated in the quarterfinals on Friday with a win against Oklahoma State's Victoria Leshkova. Carter then beat Vanderbilt's Astra Sharma in the semis, but Sunday was not Carter's day as she fell to third-ranked Buckeye Francesca De Lorenzo in straight sets. That's the end of the fall season for women's tennis.
Many upperclassmen like Haley Carter take the court for the UNC women's tennis team. And although age and experience are important for leadership, one young player proves seniority isn't always required for success. Jordan Jackson has the story.
Freshman tennis player Sarah Davatilla has been on the team just a few short months. Hard to believe considering she's already clinched a tournament title. At the ITA Carolinas Regional, Davatilla won 5 straight matches to make it to the finals. Her opponent, friend and teammate, Jessie Aney.
I've never been in that kind of situation before, so it was a little awkward at first. But then, you have to realize you're competing. It's a match, and I can't look at who I'm playing. I'm playing the ball. So that's what got me through it.
The freshman lost the first set 2-6 to Aney, but battled from behind to secure an impressive win.
It's just a confidence booster in knowing even when I'm down, I can come back, compete, change my game style, to pull it out.
2 Tar Heels competing for the title, a difficult situation for head coach Brian Calbus, but one that's also a huge honor for the UNC team.
Having 2 players in the finals is incredible for our program and for them. It's, to my knowledge, it's never happened before.
But this wasn't Davatilla's first big win of the preseason. In early October, she qualified for the Riviera All-Americans tournament in California and came away with a victory in the main draw. Next big star in women's tennis?
I don't know about that. Everyone's really nice. I try not to stress about it too much. I'm the underdog, so I'm just really excited to see what this year brings.
One thing it's sure to bring, time on the court as a starter.
She wants to please everybody. She wants to please herself. She wants to work hard. She wants to give her best every time. I don't see her having days off.
Davatilla might be new to Carolina, but she's certainly not new to winning. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jordan Jackson, reporting.
Davatilla won the singles consolation final at the National Indoor Tournament in New York. And sound minds, sound bodies, how does an athlete balance everything?
We'll show you how the heels stay mentally strong next on Sports Extra.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. How could you not love him?
Life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Some athletes, especially at a school like UNC, feel like the whole world is watching their every move.
So how do they deal with the pressures? Our Donnie Holloway reports.
But I think about the things that I can't control.
That's how many athletes respond to pressures they face. Dr. Elizabeth Hedgepeth, an adjunct professor in the UNC Department of Sports Psychology, agrees that mindset is everything.
They're not going to get taller, faster, or really much smarter. So in football, what they're going to have to do is change how they think to make a difference in how they play.
There seems to be a common theme among the athletes.
I try not to think about it, because the more you think about like outside factors as people, more stress, it just kind of makes you more like stressed out.
And part of that is realizing sometimes things don't go as planned.
There might be mistakes, like I might make mistakes, but what you can always control is how hard you're working and your attitude the whole game. So I think that's the best thing, because no matter what happens to you, like you always can control how you react to it.
Family support has an impact too.
My parents come to a lot of games because my mom's from Chapel Hill, and my sister played here as well. So like my whole extended family, everyone's really into it, and I always love getting to see them after games.
One of the common ways athletes deal with stress is by talking through their issues.
There's nothing I haven't heard. You can tell me anything you want to, and it's probably the 5th time I've heard it. So I don't think they worry about telling me stuff or talking about personal things.
Just one of the many ways the Heels stay strong on and off of the field. In Chapel Hill, I'm Donnie Holloway reporting.
D1 athletes certainly have busy schedules. Managing all the stress that comes along with that has to be tough. It's good to know they have resources available.
The men's and women's swimming and diving teams took on the nationally ranked Louisville Cardinals this weekend. The Cardinals drowned the Heels. The men lost to Louisville by a lot, and the women were a little more competitive, but the result was pretty much the same. There was some good news. Jack Nyquist, Alyssa Dawson, and Hella Moffitt all took first place in their events for the Heels.
One group on campus is making waves and reaching out, perhaps preparing the next generation of Tar Heel swimmers. Alexis Bell has the story.
Every Sunday, the Carolina Swim Clinic gives lessons free of charge to children in the Chapel Hill and Carrboro community who might otherwise not be able to afford them.
There are so many people who don't know how to swim in the community, and both because of the financial barrier of not being able to pay for lessons and also the cultural and the language barrier. The families who are new, the kids have never, a lot of them have never even been to a pool before. They've never even been inside a pool.
Because this is a new experience for most of the children, it's important they get acclimated to the water first.
So I just want to go over like the basics of water safety. So like blowing bubbles, making sure she can breathe underwater, stuff like that. Like kicking drills, having the kids like hold onto the wall and kick.
While teaching children how to swim is the first priority, Madison says coaches also like to make sure the kids are enjoying themselves.
It's fun to see them like splashing around, playing, like they're interacting. A lot of kids, some of them are like siblings, cousins. I think it's just good to see like the kids having fun.
Alex says the most advanced swimmers are those of families who've taken advantage of the lessons in the past. The program runs every semester, and children can come back as often as they want. In Chapel Hill, I'm Alexis Bell reporting.
From the looks of it, the lessons are going swimmingly. Music makes you lose control, and it probably helps you get through your workout.
But now there might actually be some science behind it. Next on Sports Extra.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good. Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
You're definitely going to want to grab some headphones, maybe some beats, the next time you go to the gym.
New studies have found that listening to music during a workout might improve your stamina. Our Bailey Ingalls has the story.
J. Cole.
Drake. The Schoolboy Q. Kodak Black.
If you're anything like these guys, a workout isn't complete without good music, especially for hurdlers like Kenny Selman.
In the hurdles, it's a rhythmic race, so everything, you don't want to, like people say you count your steps, but you don't want to be the person where you're counting your steps. You want to get it to where you can feel the rhythm.
And feeling the rhythm is exactly what they're doing. According to a recent study by Brunel University in England, listening to up-tempo music while working out increases motivation and work output, and helps you get into that rhythm. Selman says he's getting to the point that he times his steps to the music he's listening to.
It's like boom, 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 boom. That's all he needs to get it over. So he's not counting now. He's just listening to music.
That's it. And tying in music with workouts isn't just for hurdlers. Other athletes listen to music before their workouts to keep their minds focused.
It's a lot more of a mental thing. It keeps you focused on things other than the race, keeps your mind occupied.
The same study showed scientifically that music does help you focus, especially before a race. It also improves your self-confidence, which makes you more likely to compete at a higher level.
It helps me kind of block out stuff around me and just think about the race. It's very helpful for kind of like putting yourself in like your own little world before the meet, so you can really focus.
So what does Kenny Selman turn on when he's getting ready for a race?
For some reason, I keep going back to old Lil Wayne, and I don't know why. I mean, like 6 foot, 7 foot, like all a million. I don't know. Those songs, I just know every word to it, so it gets me pumped up.
As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, keep listening. In Chapel Hill, I'm Bailey Ingalls reporting.
All right, Peyton. Well, I know you love to work out. What is your music of choice when you're out there?
I'll give you a piece of advice. I don't know that if I have a straight go-to for music and listening to, but they say that if you listen to tracks of wild dogs barking, that you'll run faster.
Interesting.
So that would be my piece of advice. What do you listen to, Caleb?
You know, I listen to a lot of different things, like to mix it up. But when I'm really going for that big lift, you know, trying to max out, I like to pump a little Kids Bop. It really just really improves my workout.
Classic.
And I go with
Outkast.
that. I go with that.
That's great.
Well, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Thanks for watching. Good night.